Good morning, everybody. Dalton, Massachusetts is one of those trail towns that the trail literally goes right through. So I am walking through town, but I am back on trail. Start of a new week. Today's supposed to be beautiful. Next shelter up is about 14 miles, which is what I'm going to do today because the one beyond that would make it a 20-plus mile day. Is that a possibility? Maybe. But I think these 14 will be good because that will set up Mount Greylock tomorrow. Now, even though it's supposed to be hot tomorrow, I will hit Mount Greylock fairly early in the morning. So hopefully it won't be too bad. But I've got to hike today first. That is Cheshire, Massachusetts below. And behind it, Mount Greylock. I'm heading in that direction. So I'm in Cheshire, Massachusetts, and I'm at Diane's Twist, which is an ice cream store and little restaurant. I'm having some lunch. Turkey sandwich, lots of mayo, strawberry milkshake. That'll certainly help get me through the rest of the day. Nothing like a little trail magic to make your day. Sorry, not today. Carry on. Okay, I'm about 2/10 of a mile away from the shelter. Hiking wise, it was kind of an uneventful day. I mean, the trail was the trail. Started off in a nice town. Dalton, went through another nice town, Cheshire. Other than that, not a huge number of views. Did get another look at Mount Greylock, which I will be summiting tomorrow. If I sound a little bit winded, is because once again, the end of the day sees me going uphill to the shelter site. But other than that, it's been a really good day. A little shorter than yesterday. Yesterday was 18.8. Today's going to be around 14. I don't know whether it's 13 point something or 14 point something, but it's around 14 miles, which is good because I'm trying to average around 15. So, a good day. Good morning, everybody. I am heading towards Mount Greylock, 3.3 miles away, the highest peak in Massachusetts. I've just left the shelter, and right now it's a very breezy day. I hope it stays that way. The real heat of the week is supposed to begin tomorrow, but it is supposed to be warmer today. But if I can keep this breeze, it won't be bad. So we're off. The tower doesn't open until 9:30, so I can't go all the way to the top. But this is the peak of Mount Greylock. Second summit today, but this one's a little shy of being a 3,000 footer. I have not seen steps up a hill that look like Lincoln logs before. This is a new one on me.
Well, it's all downhill from here.
If only. I have been walking uphill, pretty much straight uphill for 1.5 miles. No switchbacks, just uphill. And I got more to go. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a white blaze way up there. All right, so I'm climbing up these rocks hand over hand. And one of my trekking poles literally comes apart. I left the other ones up there, the whole 1.5 one, and came down to retrieve it. I definitely need new trekking poles. Okay, I'm on some, relatively speaking, flat terrain. It's not really flat, but according to what I just did, according to far out, that was 2 miles of basically straight up. About 1.5 miles of it was just vertical climb. Nothing horrible about it, except it was 1.5 miles straight up. But that last half mile, oh my God, that was some of the worst climbing that I've done pretty much yet. All the other boulder scrambling, this was tough. But it's what you got to do if you want to hike the AT. After I got to the top of that, and a little bit over it, in fact, I found a nice rock to sit on, and I frankly took a little hiker nap. I closed my eyes for about 6 minutes and just relaxed, caught my breath, and thought that as tough as it was, I'm glad I did it today and not tomorrow, considering how hot it's supposed to be tomorrow. And the reason why I'm hiking now is because the last shelter back, if I had stopped there, it would have been much too early a day. And it's cool, certainly a lot cooler than it's going to be tomorrow. So you got to hike while the hiking's good. So going a little farther than I had originally planned today, because I am taking advantage of the temperature. Of course, you don't always know the terrain that awaits you, and that terrain back there was a bear. But it's over and done with. I caught my breath, and now I'm hiking on. Welcome to Vermont, another state down. For about 100 miles or so, the AT and Vermont's Long Trail are the same, and then they split off. So I'll be hiking part of the Long Trail and the AT. Good morning, everybody. I am leaving where I tented last night, the old Seth Warner shelter area. They built a new one, but it's like 2-3 miles up, and I just was not hiking another 2 or 3 miles yesterday. So even though this shelter is closed down, there are still plenty of nice flat areas to pitch a tent. So that's what I did, and a couple of other hikers too. They just weren't going to hike the extra miles. Today is going to be a warm one, so how many miles I do today will largely depend on that. Would I like to get 15 in? Absolutely. But it's going to depend on the terrain. It's going to depend on water sources. Definitely have to stay hydrated today. And we'll see how it goes. But right now, I am making my way back to the AT, and a new day begins. Bennington, Vermont. To go into town or not, that is the question. I've been told by a local it's an easy hitch, but we'll see. Ice cream and cold drinks on a hot day is very tempting, but I'll let you know. You may be able to hear some road noise because I just did a road crossing. And, well, I'm going to pause here because I'm starting a 1.6 mile climb to the shelter that I'm going to stay at tonight. At the road crossing, there was some trail magic, which was wonderful. Nice cold Gatorade. Hopefully to prepare me for this very difficult 1.6 miles. Going down to the road crossing, the descent was very, very challenging as well. It's kind of strange that the hiking today, really kind of boring. There wasn't a lot to see, but it was difficult and it was hot. So mileage-wise, today is going to be a short day, but definitely not an easy one. So I'm just looking at this very steep beginning, but got to take that first step. The appropriately named Split Rock, and I still have a mile to go. Good morning. It dawned on me that I did not do a concluding video yesterday. That's because I was exhausted. Today is going to be just as hot. I'm hoping the terrain is a little bit friendlier. It was rough yesterday. A Nobo stayed at the same campsite. Now, mind you, he did twice as many miles as I did, but he also commented on how rough the terrain was. Now, one good thing, at least from my standpoint, did happen yesterday. I was passed by a hiker who ended up staying at the same shelter. He just got there before I did. And he asked me what my trail name was. I told him. He gave me his trail name, and it was Radioactive. I said, did you hike with Smiles and Chewy and stayed at a shelter where Jay of Jay Wanders Out stayed? He said, yeah. I said, I was the section hiker who stayed there that night. So this was a couple years ago. He was, attempting a through hike, but he got injured and it took him off the trail. So what he's doing this year is completing the sections that he wasn't able to. But it was kind of wild to see him because, I met him just briefly. I think it was 2022 that he attempted his through hike. And I've been seeing in the various log books at shelters along the way, someone signing their name as Radioactive. I wondered if it was the same person. Lo and behold, it was. So that was actually pretty cool. What are the odds of two people that, just met in passing 2 years ago down at the Harper's Creek shelter in Virginia should encounter each other again on the Appalachian Trail 2 years later. So for me, that was a pretty cool thing yesterday. In a day that was all otherwise a pretty miserable day, that was pretty cool. But today is a new day. I am forever hopeful. Hopeful that the terrain is not too bad, and hopeful that in the shade, the temperature's, well, at least tolerable. Hello. I'm almost at the end of my day. I've got 3 more miles to hike approximately. The reason why I haven't shot any video is because there really hasn't been anything to see. The trail has been definitely challenging. Easier today than yesterday, but definitely very hard. But there's really hasn't been anything to see. I summited Glastonbury Mountain today, 3,700 and something feet. There really wasn't anything to see at the top, no vistas or what have you, just trees. So I gotta say, the first couple days in Vermont, view-wise, has been pretty boring. Trail-wise, has been pretty challenging, and it's also been very, very hot. I am soaked through, frankly, with sweat, and I've been like this for about 2.5 days. So that's it for today. Wish I could have shown you something, but the trail is what the trail is. See you tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. I just left the camp area, but I'm actually doing a super short day because I'm getting picked up at a trailhead for a narrow. That's a day of near 0 miles. I'm going to a hostel to recharge my electronics, but also to recharge myself. Last few days have been very rough. So, probably won't be videoing much today. Not that I've done that much the last couple days because the trail's been boring. But at least today, I get to rest up. So we'll see what happens. Good morning, everybody. I've just begun my first day of slack packing. For those of you that don't know what that is, you may notice that my backpack is different. I am wearing a day pack that I borrowed from the hostel. I am going up Stratton Mountain, where I will take the gondola down after getting to the top, and I will be shuttled back to the hostel, the Wicked Way Station, where I will stay tonight. So my heavy pack is there. So this means I'm traveling very light. It feels great not having 35 pounds on my back. It's going to be a short day because it's only 6 miles up the mountain. And then tomorrow, I will be slack packing again. I'll be shuttled back to Stratton, take the gondola up the mountain, and we'll walk 14 miles to Manchester, Vermont. But it's a relatively cool day because of the storms last night. Now, the downside is that the trail is pretty wet in some places, but yeah, hey, it beats 90-degree temperatures. So a new and very light day begins, both in terms of what I have on my back and the miles that I'm going to do. Not a bad combination for me. How do you like my custom designed duct tape trekking poles? I've been told that I might be able to get new trekking poles in Stratton, and if not there, definitely in Manchester. So these won't be with me for much longer. Thank you. Oh, the sound of water while I hike. Something that I always enjoy. How long it'll last, I don't know. But it's very pleasant while it does. Some purists look down on slack packing. They say, you should carry everything you need for the entire 2,200 miles. I say, give me a break. And that is, in fact, what slack packing does. I'll be staying at the same hostel I stayed in last night. To be honest, I have been concerned with my weight loss, so I'm going to get some more town food in me. Putting a few miles on today, more miles tomorrow without the burden of a heavy pack. It's just the break that I need, plus putting on more calories. So clearly I'm not a purist. That's okay. I'm still doing the 2,200 miles. This is my first experience slack packing. And if this goes well, and so far it is, I may do it again. Well, I'm definitely doing it again tomorrow, but I mean after that. The expression hike your own hike, oops, that includes slack packing. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But there's nothing wrong with doing it if it helps make the miles go by and helps keep you healthier on trail. And certainly for me and the weight loss, this is going to help me to put at least a little bit more weight back on. And that's a plus in my book. I'm at the top of the fire tower, Stratton Mountain. As you can see, it's pretty socked in, particularly on this side. I don't know if you can see it, but we are heading over there. That is the ski area, and we'll be taking the gondola down. So I'm sure this was quite a view if it weren't so down cloudy. You can see a little bit over there. Maybe another day, another mountain, better views. You can see the line of haze, and we're gradually going to dip below it.
Yay. Tooey.
Then you got families going up on the other side. And look at that layer of cloud cover.
Oh yeah. Are you getting a good shot of the sewage treatment facility to the left?
Hello everyone. My second Nero day is quickly drawing to a close. In fact, it's almost hiker midnight, which is around 9 o'clock. I really should be in bed by now. I did the 6 miles approximately up to Stratton Mountain. Had a wonderful time hiking with Waffles. We took the gondola down. We had lunch with 2 other hikers who are staying at the hostel tonight. We were all picked up at Stratton. Then we picked up 2 other hikers at a trailhead, so there are 6 of us here tonight. Tomorrow, Waffles and I go back to Stratton Mountain. We will have breakfast there. I will probably eat something here too, because, still trying to get those calories in. Have breakfast there, take the gondola back up to the top of the mountain, and then go 14 miles into Manchester. I might have to hike as fast as I'm capable of hiking, because I want to get into Manchester before the outfitter closes, because I want to get new trekking poles. If I can't get there, say by 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30, then I'm going to have to wait until they open the next day, which will be around 10 o'clock, to go into this outfitter, get trekking poles, and then hit the trail again. That would put a big dent in my day on Sunday. So I'm hoping to get there before they close tomorrow. But that's for another day. Well, hello. Obviously, I am back on trail. The gondola dropped us off at the top of the mountain. And we have a 14-mile hike that is generally downhill. Now, I don't know if there is going to be any uphills along the way, but the orientation is generally downhill. And here we go. Not much of a view today. The sky opened up at around noon, and it is just about 2 o'clock. The rain has eased up. I don't know if that's a permanent condition or not, but that's about the only view today. Hello, I am in Manchester, Vermont. I got picked up from the trailhead, brought into town so I could get some new trekking poles at an outfitter. And now I'm walking back to where I'm going to get picked up to get taken back to the hostel. I got rained on for about 2 solid straight hours, but I was able to get to town on time and get picked up on time in order to do what I had to do. So that's it for this week. Tomorrow, a drier beginning to a new week.